Folks, in this module, we're going to look at dietary fat. We're going to look at where it comes from, the best sources, and what it's made up of. So, the first thing I will say is that there are 9 calories per gram of dietary fat, which makes it more than double the amount of calories in comparison to your protein and your carbs. So, it's really important that we monitor the amount of fat we're consuming on a day to day basis because of these high calories. And traditionally and historically, people went on these low fat diets to lose weight because they blamed fat consumption and blamed it as a reason for people being overweight. That wasn't necessarily the case. It's just because it's got more calories per unit, and people need to be aware of that. So, um, normally when it comes to our foods, a lot of high fat foods, especially the healthier ones, come with protein. So if we look at fish, for example, salmon is mainly a protein and fat source. Eggs are a protein and fat source. Nuts are a protein and fat sources. So these sources may be fantastic for your protein. Just be mindful of the fat content. And this is why tracking your calories is a fantastic educational tool for knowing what you're consuming on a day-to-day basis. Now, why is fat important? Well, the main thing is it's really important for our hormones, and especially for females out there. When we look historically again at these low-fat diets, there was a massive increase in fertility deaths and fertility issues with mothers because they were on these low-fat diets and their hormones weren't in balance. Normally, I recommend 20 to 25% of your total calorie intake coming from fats. So it's important not only for, again, hormones, but just for general health, for brain function, and for all these different things. So we need to make sure that we're getting enough fats into our diet. However, just be mindful that it is very easy to overconsume different fat sources. If we look at things like butter, if we look at things like cooking oils, if we look at things like bacon, and we look at things like beef, these have got high fat content. Now, some of them have fantastic protein sources, especially beef, but be mindful of the fat content. That's like steak and things like this, burgers. This is why they're super high in calories, is because of the high fat content in the meat. So always go for your lean sources of meat where possible. So it's important to have these in your diet, but just be mindful of the amount that you're consuming because they're the one food group that is very easy to overconsume on. So again, logging your progress, logging your fats will really open your eyes to the amount of calories that are in some of these dietary fats. So there you go, guys. I hope that was helpful in relation to the 3 macronutrients. If you're still unsure about different pieces, go back, listen to the videos again, and if you have any other additional questions, post them up in the Facebook group.